reasonable short,
short statement,
just a short statement.
Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm start on the question.
Exactly.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Yeah. Shall I just open? Yes, I'll just open the floor. First of all, welcome to the Bella Center here in Copenhagen, where we're having the meeting among the foreign ministers. We are looking very much forward to that. We are in a situation where we are building up a strong external service. It has our full support. We think it's a line of still growing influence, of growing number of crises that's handled through the EIS. I think one of the problems is that all the crises we prevent to explode, one never see because they don't explode. But nevertheless, Kathy, it's very nice to welcome you as well. You are doing a brilliant job. As a small country, Denmark is very interested in making foreign policy on even more areas, so you have our full support.
Thank you. Can I first of all say it's fantastic to be in Copenhagen and in this venue which has seen a great deal of action over the years, the place where many discussions have taken place, and I hope today will be no exception in terms of the ability to talk to each other in detail. The Gymnich is the occasion when ministers are able to discuss in greater detail the issues not only that of course we focus on in our foreign policy on a day-to-day basis, but also to talk about in a more strategic way, the building of the service, how in the backdrop that we have, we can make European foreign policy be even more than it is now, and to consider too how we can more effectively work together, both within the team of foreign ministers and also, of course, through the delegations and embassies on the ground. So that will be the theme for today, and in the course of that, no doubt, there will be the live issues that will be discussed. Ministers will be able to, in a sense, use the discussion to talk about the current situation in different parts of the world. I just wanted to add that I've just spent a week, as some of you know, visiting some of our member states on the Arctic, and it has been a wonderful experience. But my purpose in doing so was to support the ability of the European Union to become a permanent observer to the Arctic Council and to see for myself and talk with people directly connected in the Arctic, both living there, the indigenous people, both working there, those involved in economic activity, and those involved in scientific research, especially on issues of climate change. Thanks.
A few questions. There. WGR. Yes.
There was a letter by Juppé to several foreign ministers. Is there any comment from your side to this letter?
Well, Juppé has written several letters because, like many foreign ministers, he writes. So what are you thinking of particularly within it?
The work of the EAE and your work.
Well, I have a very strong relationship with Alain Juppé, and what I've always invited foreign ministers to do is to work together in groups and teams to send me their comments and views on different issues in order that we enhance our debate. So first of all, I welcome it. Secondly, I think what we're all trying to do, particularly at this meeting, is now look forward to, if you like, the next half of my mandate and how we can build the service even further. Alan, I've encouraged him and others to be regular correspondents and to be very open in the dialogue. So we've got a number of letters that come in for each Foreign Affairs Council. This is a good example of him putting forward good ideas.
There are two international issues today that are involved in Italy. One is in Nigeria, where Samosha has been killed in an attack, and the Italian government has not been informed before of the attack. The other one is the problem of the Marines in India that you are working on. Can you update on your position on both the issues, and if you intend to do some action as European Union? And I will ask the same thing to the presidency that is involved in both the issues as well.
First of all, my condolences to the family of the hostage in Nigeria, to both of the families, for the tragic loss. Of course, I don't know the details of how the decisions were made and who was informed, so I'm not going to comment on that. Secondly, in terms of what's happening in India, I've already, as you know, had conversations with the Italian government. My door is always open. We are always ready to support. For many countries, often there is a bilateral track which is pursued and can be successful, can work out what happens. But the EU and the delegation on the ground and myself are always available. And I have indeed discussed this with the Italian government, and we are ready to work closely to see what we can do.
I don't have much to add. Also, my condolences to the people who lost their loved ones in that situation. Okay. I noticed also the discussion, but I think it's not the presidency's role to judge in that situation. So it's also a pity with those when lives are lost.
Dieter.
Could I ask you for your reaction to the report in the Financial Times of today saying that there was a swap between Mr. Barnier and you discussed at the Commission, and that you even had agreed to such a swap should that be necessary? Is there any truth in that report?
Well, I don't comment on stories that the Financial Times says is based on speculation. I think I just refer you to what President Barroso has already said about it.
That's the last question.
The gaps in the Syrian regime seem to be getting bigger. The oil ministers helped off. Can you really sit here in Copenhagen discussing the future of the foreign affairs in Europe without taking a firm stand on the Syrian issue right now?
I think we have taken an absolutely firm, united stand on what's happening in Syria. We have been appalled, and that word is the word we've used, at the violence that has gone on. Up to 10,000 people have been killed, mainly men, but over 500 children, and of course many women. And we have also said that you cannot be a leader and murder your own people. So our stand is absolutely united. What we're also doing is working with our member states in the Security Council to try and push forward, and supporting the Arab League and their plans and proposals. And I spoke with Kofi Annan a couple of days ago to both wish him every possible speedy success in what he's trying to do and every possible support. What we have to do is get behind that. But in doing that, talking with people on the ground, trying to make the right decisions, these are issues that are complicated, and we need to consider the options, but be very clear about the unity we have in going forward.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just take pictures in Danish with English press.
Yeah.
Could they really just take it?
I mean, it's a perfectly normal innocent letter, but I think some people are trying to think of this as being
Nuværende udenrigstjeneste har været i gang godt og vel et år, boet 8 forskellige steder i Bruxelles indtil for nylig. Den magt, den skal have, skal den tage fra andre, når man så vil sige. Plus at det er nationalstaten, der har ønsker om at bevare udenrigspolitikken. Så vi vidste jo godt, at det her er svært. I forhold til det, synes jeg, at udenrigstjenesten er noget rigtig langt. Et af tjenestens problemer er, at den jo i høj grad er med til at undgå, at konflikter eksploderer. Hver gang det undgås, så bliver det aldrig nogen stor sag, fordi der bliver ikke nogen stor konflikt. Men ikke desto mindre er det jo den allervigtigste udenrigspolitiske opgave at forebygge, at konflikter eksploderer.
Du kommer med en række forslag til møde, blandt andet en repræsentant for menneskerettigheder. Bliver det andet end en mand, der taler pæne ord?
Nej, det gør han forhåbentlig. Det synes jeg er vigtigt i diplomati, at man taler pænt. Men det bliver en mand, der har til opgave at sikre, at menneskerettigheder bliver sådan den røde tråd, eller den gyldne tråd i meget af det EU laver i forhold til hjælp. Vi er jo til stede fra verden, hvor det ydes mest hjælp til udvikling. i forhold til handelsinteresse, i forhold til at koordinere initiativer med andre lande, så det bliver en rigtig vigtig post.
Vi skal i dag tale om, hvordan EU fører udenrigspolitik i lyset af den økonomiske krise, og der er kritikere, der siger, at de store problemer, man slås med i forhold til økonomien, trækker energien ud af EU på den internationale scene. Hvor svækket synes du EU er?
Jeg synes nu ikke, det er en rigtig karakteristik. Jeg synes modsat, at netop opbygningen af en fælles udenrigstjeneste har givet EU et stærkere udenrigspolitisk platform, end vi havde før. Højt i forhold til udviklingen i Nordafrika, i forhold til EU's interessevaretagelse rundt om i verden. Men selvfølgelig vil det altid være at have flere penge. Men jeg kender ikke det pengetræk, hvor vi bare kan.
Der er 12 lande, der har sendt et kritisk brev til Ashton og gået i rette med, hvordan udenrigstjenesten fungerer. Hvordan kan det være, at Danmark ikke har skrevet under på det brev?
Jeg ser det nu ikke som et kritisk brev. Jeg ser det som et konstruktivt brev, hvor man siger til en ny udenrigstjeneste, vi synes, at efter godt et år, hvor jeg har været i gang, er der nogle områder, hvor vi kunne gøre det endnu bedre. Det synes jeg ikke er kritik, det synes jeg er en normal måde at arbejde videre på. Det er jeg sikker på, at jeg også gør i dagspressen.
Hvorfor skal du sætte under på det?
Vi gør det ikke som formandsland, fordi det er lidt underligt at skrive til sig selv. Men jeg er helt sikker på, at også i dagspressen vurderer I hver dag, om I ikke kunne lave jeres avis bedre. Og nogle gange når I formentlig frem til den konklusion, det kunne vi godt forhåbentlig. Og det er jo præcis den samme proces, vi gennemløber, og det synes jeg er en helt naturlig proces.
Sidste spørgsmål. Ville Søren vil Irans atomprogram være på dagsordenen her weekenden?
Ja, det vil det på den måde, at Iran har sagt, at de godt vil forhandle nu. Det er meget positivt. Det afgørende er, at vi ikke kommer ind i sådan en sædvanlig trækken i langdrag. Vi fastholder sanktionerne. Hvis Iran vil forhandle og tillade inspektion, så har de jo virket sanktionerne, og så har vi i sagens natur ikke noget ønske om at ramme Iran på økonomien. Men nu er det op til Iran at levere både ved et forhandlingsbord i forhold til ting på jorden.
Tak skal jeg have.
sagde du faktisk fint. Det har du fuld respekt for. Ja.
Auch mit unserer Gemeinschaft der Werte verteidigen und selbst behaupten. Die Entscheidung in Griechenland zeigt eins: Es gibt noch keinen Grund zur Entwarnung, aber es gibt gute Gründe für neue Zuversicht. Und wir werden darauf achten, dass die Politik auf zwei Säulen fortgesetzt wird. Einmal Haushaltsdisziplin, man kann eine Schuldenkrise nicht mit neuen Schulden lösen, aber gleichzeitig ist vor allen Dingen Wachstum ganz entscheidend. Und Wachstum kommt von Wettbewerbsfähigkeit. Diese strukturellen Fragen, sie müssen in Europa nicht nur in den einzelnen Mitgliedstaaten, sondern auch europaweit diskutiert und auch vorangebracht werden. Ich will noch etwas sagen zu Syrien. Mein Eindruck ist, dass mehr und mehr der Zerfallsprozess des Regimes von Assad begonnen hat. Ich setze darauf, dass wir 3 Ziele vorantreiben können. Erstens das Ende der Gewalt. Zweitens geht es darum, dass endlich auch humanitär geholfen werden kann, den Menschen geholfen werden kann. Und drittens ist ganz entscheidend, dass es einen politischen, friedlichen Wandel gibt. Wir setzen dabei auf eine Lösung, die vor allen Dingen auch Kofi Annan unterstützt. Ich teile seine Bewertung, dass Diskussionen über militärische Interventionen kontraproduktiv sind. Wir müssen auch verhindern, dass in der Region ein Flächenbrand entsteht.
Minister, Gewässer des syrischen Regimes werden wohl sein. Können Sie und Ihre Kollegen, obwohl es ein informelles Treffen ist, kurzfristig deutliche, unmissverständliche